Hi, hello, this is JulesTheHuman here, and welcome to the JulesTheHuman Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, JulesTheHuman, and every week we go out into the world and watch a little bit of anime, and then we come back here and talk about it. And today is the first time we're going to be talking about Vinland Saga. We are talking about episode 1 through 4 today, next week the next 4, next week the next 4, and we continue on for a little while, and then we give it a ranking. Here are all the anime that we've ranked so far in season 3. We just added Delicious in Dungeon into the S-Class anime. So if you want to stick around and watch the next couple weeks to see where we rank Vinland Saga, be sure to stay tuned for that. Here are all the animes that we still need to pick out from the random chest. If you want to get an anime put into the chest, if you're like, hey, I don't see an anime there that I really like, $5 super chat on YouTube or 500 bits on Twitch. $5 super chat on YouTube or 500 bits on Twitch gets you an anime of your choice put into there. And most of these are suggested by the community. I don't go on these anime journeys alone. I go with my co-host, Matt Galley. Matt, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm excited to talk about Vinland Saga for sure. Because I feel like Vikings are definitely something that's kind of like unique to the anime as a medium.
Sure.
I don't think I've watched
Well,
another Viking-based anime, but
there
I
were
have
actual
played
real
like
life Vikings.
oh, really?
I don't know if you know this.
My
It's not just
my interest with Vikings, and this might be a deep cut. My interest with Vikings goes all the way back to a trashy TV show known as Deadliest Warrior, where they pitted, I think it was I can't remember who they pitted them against, but just all of those historical fighters,
Yeah.
Vikings, Spartans, ninjas, pirates. So, I mean, what for you? What's the oldest piece of media that you can remember Viking related? That
I mean,
like,
I do remember Deadliest Warrior. That is definitely dating us quite a bit. But hello, everybody
deep
watching in the
cut.
live chat. I see Dad there. Hello, hello. How are you doing? We're talking about Vinland Saga today. Viking stuff. I don't know, man. I really can't think of when I first got introduced to sort of the lore of Vikings. I got to think on that one. I don't know, but
Just very very intrigued because at least like yeah, in terms of uh long-term storytelling, I know there's like a live action series. I think it is just called Vikings or something like that. It might have been
yeah,
an HBO series or something, but I just know it's a they are a faction of history that doesn't get the like a light shown on them very often, I feel like. So it's a very newish like it's
well,
action adventure, but like Vikings as the kind of like category, the
there's
theme is
yeah, as
definitely
the
intriguing.
theme, there's definitely like in fantasy, a lot gets pulled from it. I think
That's fair.
a lot from Viking sort of mythology or the gods that they kind of alluded to and things like that. But yeah, you're right. There's not like just full on Viking stuff other than like history, maybe lesser so than maybe like Japanese culture, where there's like a ton of stuff on maybe Japanese culture or even like newer like mafia stuff with Yakuza or something like that. But like Vikings, it really does have to be a set piece if you're talking about Vikings.
Mhm.
And talking about Vinland Saga, I didn't know. Well, I knew what to expect because I read the first two manga,
Okay.
but the first two omnibuses, so maybe like the first 4 volumes of the actual manga. But like I didn't know it's a little different. I didn't know if it was going to be like this different because in the manga, everything goes by pretty quick, and I have to like, okay, this is what we're doing. Like this whole 4 episodes kind of happened in maybe the first 1 or 2 manga, or if I'm remembering correctly. But I'm like, oh man, this is a lot of stuff. Like, oh, we're diving into it. But I like that it feels slower paced with very beautiful animation, but then I get to the end of the episode and I'm like, where, what like I thought it was going slow, but like the time passed by so quickly. It's just
Yeah.
so it's
These
really
these four
nice.
especially kind of flew by really fast, and they do kind of this is a great example of a show that you could tell somebody watch the first four episodes and you'll know if you'll want to continue or not. I think because by the time we get to the fourth episode, it's like if you're not bought in, it's like like I
If
mean
you're not bought
obviously I
in,
haven't watched more, but I think you should know by then.
if you're not bought in, it's not for you. Because
Yeah,
the first four episodes, I love that we ended like on a sort of cliffhanger too. We'll
on
get it.
a very emotionally charged cliffhanger.
Oh, brother, I'm excited. Okay, Vinland Saga, episode one, Somewhere Far Away. What happens in episode one?
We witness a massive longship battle following along with Thor's, a combatant that swims away from the battlefield to a nearby island. Jumping ahead in time, we see the village that Thor's has become a part of and even started a family in. However, this village is threatened by ever increasing cold winters. Ylva, Thor's daughter, discovers a runaway slave buried in the snow one morning, and Thor's and his wife nurse him back to health from the brink of death for a few moments of consciousness. As Thor's son, Thorfinn receives exposition from Leif, a traveling merchant. Halfdan, the slave's owner, arrives and makes his way to Thor's to take his slave back. Thor's makes a generous offer in exchange for this Slavic man, only for the man to pass away shortly after. Burying the man, Thorfinn asks if they ran away too, where would they run to? And Thor's asked if they ran to and where they could run to if they need to next. As a shot closes in on a set of equipment in a chest.
Ooh, baby, this anime starts off with some violence. We get Thor's just handed just I was like, okay, you let me know how far we can go because like it was very jarring to start off that way and I think it's like, okay, you
It
got to
sets
be
the
ready.
tone.
Yeah, sets the tone. You know nothing about the story that's going to start. It's right here. Are you okay with this type of violence? It's going to be there. Here we are. It's kind of like when they do that like in Game of Thrones whenever they get right up to the edge with that or like nudity or something like that. They're like, "Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
This what's in the
Because some
show."
some shows definitely will withhold stuff like that to kind of like Delicious in Dungeon, for instance, as like a very recent example,
Yeah.
where it really withholds the violence and some of the more crazy things that might happen because it wants to kind of like lull you into the world and like make you have a false sense of security to kind of like turn it on its head. But this right away establishes this world is violent, it's brutal, it is kill or be killed.
Especially adding to that with the sort of world that they're in. I mean, they're in ice. It's the ocean. They're it immediately sets up like the stakes of battle as well because it's
Mhm.
like, okay, we know nothing. We see this Thor's guy, he's fighting with a sword. There's arrows. Okay, this is the kind of setting we're in. There's no guns. It's not going to be like crazy. So, oh, okay, here we are. And then we go into this ice what is it? Year 1002 AD Iceland. So they set it up with time, date, specific places and it's like, okay, I'm in the mindset.
Yeah.
I know what we're doing. This is going to be more based in reality. What did you think about the intro to the show?
Bro, that I was like, it's not a phase, mom.
Oh
It's not
my
a
god.
phase, mom.
It's like cool, it's dope, and then the scene screaming at the end. I'm like, let's go. It's so
I
good.
like it.
I
I
like that it
was
wasn't.
gelling with it.
Yeah, I like that the animation wasn't just still shots as well with something most recently like you said Delicious in Dungeon was a lot of still shots a little bit more and we see that kind of a lot where they just focus on the character looking off or something but they did actually have a lot of motion showing a lot of scenes from the show and just showing different characters and the way they set up with the big ocean grand scale of it. Love the intro. It's
Yeah,
really good.
especially when he's swimming away from it and you just see the fire of all the ships, the fight coming to its like its finale. And it definitely sets the tone right away. And it's like, you're gonna know if you're into that or not right away for the battle stuff, but then the show kind of like takes a second, takes its foot off the gas and lets you start to soak in the world that it wants to build for you as well.
Yeah, so we get introduced to Thorfinn, who is the boy, the son of Thor's, and we have him as just a little boy. Doesn't really know a whole lot, maybe 8, 9-ish possibly. In this land of Iceland, we have Leif Erikson, who we know from history, whether that's
It's Leif Erikson Day.
yeah, I know this from SpongeBob, but like he is a real person. Leif Erikson,
Ding-a-ding-a-durgan.
Leif
That's a
talks
SpongeBob quote.
about yeah, SpongeBob quote. Leif talks about a new land that he discovered where called Vinland, where there's no war. It doesn't reach there. That just free, beautiful lands, not of ice, because that is something that they live with. They introduce a man with a chain around their neck. Introduce as well Ylva, who is the sister to Thorfinn, who probably will be an important part. They spend a lot of time with Ylva coming up, but I guess not so much their mom, huh? In these 4 episodes, not so much their mom, but I think there was enough. And I want to talk about a scene which is really good. But the winter is getting colder, and Ylva finds the chained man in the snow, which is a runaway slave that they said Slavic person. And Thorfinn, he just wants to sail, man. He just wants to get out there. He's asking, why do we have to survive this cold? So that like instantly this show is putting questions into Thorfinn for us to question. Like, why are we here? Like, what are we doing here? It's so cold. This sucks. I want to go into the ocean. They kind of have the idea in this episode as well of like war battles, the kids are battling or whatever. And it's like, okay, what are we trying to say here? Why are they here? And what's going on? So I like that they subtly put that into Thorfinn to kind of question it so that we can question it. Um, I think it was Leif Erikson who talked about the herald conquested as the first king of Norway. They said for them to obey the king or to leave. So a lot of people moved to Iceland. Thorfinn doesn't believe that his ancestors would do that. That they wouldn't just go and leave because of this king. I don't even know if he understands the idea of what a king is or what a king would do.
Exactly. I think he's definitely set up intentionally to be kind of like naive to the world, right? He is starry-eyed and he has these ideals and thinks that the world should have this sense of justice and fairness to it, and that is a reality that in these 4 episodes we see get shattered for him, which brings him to a breaking point.
And I think the whole village sort of has that starry-eyed look, and
Definitely.
we'll talk about it into episode 2, but like these people, the younger people, just don't know. They know what they've grown up in this little village in the edge of the world, in full of ice, and they just hear stories about things, and people come through or out.
And we see through Leif Erikson that, you know, a lot of mythological folklore has been is it something that gets passed on and, you know, shared, and stories get told, and it's very Viking, you know, oriented Viking mythology. And in such mythology, they glorify Valhalla, you know, which is to get there, you have to have the ultimate glorious death, which is only in battle. So you have all of the this village full of young men that have never seen war, and maybe even a generation. Because even at one point in the second episode, when one guy's handing down a set of armor and stuff, he's like, "Yeah, it's from your grandfather. Fight to your heart's content." I feel like that's a soft implication. Like, I never donned this armor. This is not mine. This is getting passed to you from your grandfather, not through me. So this village has an entire 2 generations of people living in it that have not seen the realities of war outside of Thor's.
Yeah, outside of Thor's, who seems to be the only one.
And Leif only probably by proximity, you know, but like
but he's sort of a traveler.
Exactly.
He's
He's a
not
traveling
there.
merchant. He knows of the horrors of war, but he probably hasn't experienced them firsthand as a combatant.
Mm-hmm. Halfdan's slave wakes up from beyond the mountain. Halfdan is here in the village, and we instantly get sort of. I liked how they characterized him so quickly in like what he was saying when he actually got to their village. How he's like they believe in the laws of the chain, that a man is better in chains or something, stuff like that, and then he just like hits his own person and like get back here, like what the fuck, like that's crazy.
Bro, the way the chains had like threads of his hair and stuff ripped off of it, I
Dude,
was like, yeah, yikes.
the animation
Yikes.
so good with those little details, like little
Ugh.
things, and
Ugh.
that made it very gross. Yeah,
Visceral.
visceral. They just stayed on that shot of the chain hanging with his hairs or something. And then even in the, I know I'm going to mention this because I know I'll forget, in the ultimate battle in episode 4, when Thor's is attacking the man, some of his hair flies off because he hits him, like shaves him a little bit, and as he's talking, his just hairs are like flying, floating there or whatever. It's like so good with those little details. It's great.
The details.
Yeah, we talked about Vinland is a place away from war and slavery. Thor's is showing compassion to the slave man and wants to buy him to set him free. Trades 8 sheep for the man, but the man eventually dies as well. And a boat is coming, so possibly war. I don't know. Episode 2, what happens in episode 2? I didn't get the title for this one. Episode 2.
The English are coming.
Oh,
I don't, that's not it. We see the English massacre village of Vikings in I wrote the name, but I don't know how to pronounce that. Northumbria, Bria.
yeah.
A band of Yom's Vikings, led by Floki, Thor's old friend, visits to enlist Thor's in the upcoming war. Thor's is forced to join Floki along with a ship and men in order to protect the villagers from being killed or kidnapped. Thorfinn and the young men in the village are excited about the prospect of going to war, while Thor's remains stoic. Children in the village complain about Thorfinn being a menace, and Thor's confronts him about his mentality of the concepts behind war. Floki conspires with another man named Askeladd in the Faroe Islands to slaughter Thor's and his crew. Probably as personal revenge.
Oh, brother. So we get that whole battle in the beginning, starting off with some fighting while everybody's having bath time on Saturdays. Hell yeah, bro. You and the bros take baths together on Saturday. Let's go. Another sort of like, it's sort of like a fixation, but not, but it's like their culture and all they know. The kids are playing war multiple times. They play war in this one for the first time, but it's like that's what they have. They don't have anything else to think about because these are the stories they're told. And we see that get fleshed out even more in the younger males' excitement for war in this episode.
Yes.
That they're, like you were saying, like a generation away from ever seeing it, and that people only hear about it. And these young guys are like, oh man, we're gonna go to Valhalla if we die in war. They're so naive, and we get the juxtaposition of
We're either going to go to
Thor's.
Valhalla and die gloriously, or we get to come back as heroes and reap the rewards of such. That's what that's all they're looking at.
I mean, that sounds inviting, right? Like
Right?
when your culture is based off of that, like why wouldn't you? And it makes sense. It's just really sad to see when you get the juxtaposition of Thor's, who has been through it, who has killed many people, and he ran away from that life of war because of his reasons. And it's like, man, to see the him as the only person that knows, like it hurts because like everybody else is so excited about the thing around him,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, I can't even begin to explain. Like, how would
Yeah.
I even explain that war is not what you think without breaking down the ideals and beliefs you already have?
And that's the thing. He knows that he can't. He knows that the cat is out of the bag. You
Hmm.
know, for instance, like, you know, speaking, he knows the cat's not only out of the bag, but he's backed into a corner as well. Where it's like I either, like, you know, kind of figure this out as I go and figure it out, or I like break the news to everybody and you know, cause them to panic, or I outright decline to do anything, and then they're gonna just take away the things that I love anyways.
Hmm.
So at least this gives me a chance to figure things out. As much as it pains him, I think he's already, you know, kind of thinking two steps ahead, so to speak. He's
Or at
at
least
least trying to. Trying to.
trying. Because we get the introduction of Floki, who commands a battleship and asks for Thor's the troll. It's really funny because that's exactly how he looks in the manga, and I thought it was funny there. And it is not more. It is the same
Bro's
amount of
built
funny.
like a literal fridge.
Fridge build right there with the fucking just squaring up to you. But he's the leader of Yam's Vikings and warns of a massive battle and enlists the help of Thor's the deserter who disappeared 15 years ago. And he ran away from the life at war, and everybody's excited. Everybody's like, "Ooh, war! We're doing it. We're doing the thing." This introduction of Floki, did you believe him here in this instance as his intro? Not wanting to fight, he didn't come to fight. He brought his men, but just as a that's who he's traveling with to get Thor's and say, "Hey,
Yeah, it's like
doesn't matter."
him waiting for permission to land and them kind of like, you know, saluting to him definitely puts your defenses down. But the second, you know, they're chatting with each other and he makes a kind of like a pass at the fact that, like, I can tell this is a good village because of the children. I'm like, oh nope, 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 no bueno, no bueno. He that he's already, like, you know, making passing remarks that could be seen as threats. No, I don't
I
trust that. I did not buy into trusting him at all.
I thought that he was I picked up on the same sort of threats, but I thought those threats were more like Thor's, "We need you on the battlefield, so I'm gonna do what I have to do to get you out there with me." So I thought those threats were a little coded in that, in
Okay,
like,
yes, yes. At least it coded in that, not necessarily coded in we're gonna kill you yet. But
mm,
it was when he there, I forget which line it was. He said something that was like, yeah, I don't feel like, you know, some fishy's going on here
okay.
outside of just being recruited.
Mhm.
Even though, like, you also openly threatened to, you know, do harm to the villagers if I said no anyways, because you're not going to go back empty handed. So just threat after threat after threat.
Yeah, which were like
But again, yes.
veiled a little bit so Thor's can't like outright like just accuse him like, "You're threatening me, don't do that." It was very veiled, and it was like, oh, like the tension was high in that room when they're
There was
talking
high
to each other.
tension for sure.
It's really good. I
I,
love.
I I buy into the leverage that he has over Thor's being a deserter in this village where he has now built a home over the past 15 years.
Mhm. I love the how alive the village feels. Like, you see the kids playing, you see them up at the door trying to hear what Floki's saying. You see like different little personalities everywhere. When the kids come and tell Thor's about his son uh, hitting some kid too hard or something like that, uh, and the other parents being like, "Okay, it's okay, we're good. You're Thor's. You're doing something here, but like." So like I love how alive this little town, this little village is, with Leif Erikson telling stories to the kids and them having motion through the village whenever they have to go somewhere. They're walking through it. It really feels really cool, and it feels like very lived in. a little bit.
It's got JRPG starting village vibes.
Yeah. Village One. What did they call it in that one anime?
Firstville or something like that.
Firstville. Yeah, it's giving Firstville vibes for sure.
Secondsdale, etc.
Yeah. Thorfinn runs off. We get the introduction of Askeladd, who is leader of some warriors, and Floki tasks Askeladd to kill Thor's and do away with his ship. I didn't expect that. I mean, I did because I read the manga, but like it was just like when I read it, I did not expect that, and it was a lot. And then seeing it again happen, like I just wished it didn't, because I know. But like it's like Thor's is so cool, man. It makes you want to. It's definitely. I don't know why I keep making the connection to Game of Thrones, probably because it's swords and stuff, not as mystical or whatever as Game of Thrones, but it's giving the dad from the, what are they called? The wolves? I don't remember Game of Thrones at all.
I don't either.
Oh, you don't? The wolf family, the winter ones. The dad, spoiled. Have you seen it at least? Okay. Well, the dad dies. The dad, and then that's when it all kind of kicks off. Definitely giving those vibes. The dad of
the guy that was like trying to be virtuous, but because of the world he existed in. Yeah.
It's giving that.
It definitely, that's how Thor's is painted after you see him, trade a dying slave for 8 sheep, because, I definitely think that's the, he saw himself in that slave. Like, this is a man that was bound by chains of some kind, and he was willing to put his life on the line, potentially risking it in order to escape the chains that bound him, essentially. And all he wants is a second chance. I'm willing to give that to him. Unfortunately, it was too little too late, but I do think that Thor sees himself in that escaped slave.
Didn't think about that, about the chains were war and fighting, and how he just wanted to get away.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Once he had something to live for.
Episode 3, Troll. What happens in episode 3?
Askeladd bargains with Floki and demands double the price to kill Thor's, with a spear killing Floki's hidden Viking. Back in the village, the young men are excited as they prepare for their first battles, and Leif reveals to a villager that Thor's intends to leave them behind in Norway, getting mercenary sailors to cover the rest. Once the young men get out to sea, Thor's discovers angrily that Thorfinn has stowed away on the ship, and en route, Thor's recounts the only time Helga ever got mad at him. And when they stop to rest and resupply in the Faroe Islands, they are caught in a trap. Thor's jumps aboard the enemy ships and attacks them immediately.
Bro, that face is so good. Yeah, I love it. It's great. I forgot to ask, are you watching it in English or Japanese?
Japanese.
Okay.
How about you?
English voice acting is really good.
English, okay.
English voice acting is really good.
Okay.
Especially Thorfinn's. I'll talk about it in the next episode, but boy. Although English, I hate this, and I think it is just Netflix anime. When we try to watch Netflix anime, the English doesn't match the captioning, the subtitles. It's like the same kind of
the same subtitles as the Japanese subs, probably. It's like the same words verbatim, even though sometimes the translation is subbed different or dubbed differently.
And it's, I mean, hearing it and hearing, like, I did a comparison. I was watching with them both on in English and then the English subtitles. I'm like, I see why you went with that. That's a better way of wording that sentence, but it's like so jarring when you're just reading a thing and then they
be
say
consistent. Just be consistent. Thing.
It's like the left is where I'll go, and then the person actually says, I'm gonna go
I'm gonna go
left.
to the left. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's the same thing, but like
You're
it's messing with my
saying the
brain.
same thing in a different font.
Yeah, different.
Can we please match fonts?
Yeah, but the English voice acting
Is
really
good.
good. I would say maybe try it once.
Okay.
It made the names a lot better to say because
That's fair.
I haven't heard
Yeah.
them before. And I was
Some of
like,
the words,
okay.
I'm just reading them on the screen. I'm like, huh?
I remember when I was reading it too, it took me a little bit because I'm like, wait, what? Who is this guy?
Sometimes when there's like, I don't even know, like it looks like 4 different words combined. I'm like, how many syllables am I supposed to say this word in?
Yorman's Garden or something. Jarman's, yeah, because they do a lot of that with that. They that have that
I like that it's
dialect.
authentic, you know. I like
Mhm.
that it gives it that, like you said, that historical authenticity, that historical context authenticity to it that keeps me kind of like in the world, you know.
Thor's execution was ordered 15 years ago. Did they just he said he covered up his death, but Floki sort of knew maybe? Do you think Floki knew that he was alive and just escaped since they couldn't find his body?
I mean, like probably like it was I mean, if they won that battle, if they ended up being the ones that like won that battle that day, even though it looked like it was just a complete loss on both sides when he was swimming away from it, it kind of would be like, well, we would have noticed him doing something going down, right? Like he would have made some kind of commotion because
He's
he definitely took a entire arrow to the chest and then just kind of like swam to shore. Dude's a monster.
he's
Like it
the
would have
troll of
taken a
Yon.
lot to take him down.
Yeah. Do you
Like we
think because we don't get any more information than we do in this episode so far? Do you think Floki has been searching for him? Like that was his goal to find Thor to put him to it? Because it seemed like he just knew to come there.
yeah,
And
that's the biggest question for me is how did they know where to find him?
it
Because if
fa-
this was just the nearby island that the fight was happening on, like I feel like they would have searched it a long time ago if there's an active manhunt for him. So I feel like that's why that's not. It might be the case, like they like sure we might execute deserters, but we're not gonna use supplies and manpower to go out of our way hunting down somebody that we ultimately might not be able to find. And that's the thing is that he's trying to lead him into a trap because he knows that if he were to just take him on, you know, if they were to just openly attack him, it's probably not going to go their way.
yeah. In the last episode, he's doing his assessment of the men that he has to fight left. He's like, there's about 30 men here, and I can take all those on by myself. And it's like, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, we know that Thor is a beefy boy. He's the troll of Yon. It felt like that they have been searching for a while. Maybe they didn't want to waste resources at the beginning, but now they have time. 15 years, kind of a long time, but maybe they're just going down the list and
But
they're
it's just like
bored.
they're also conveniently finding him right when the like were they really supposed to find him and enlist him for the war? And maybe this whole time they knew where he was, but they were just like, but like we can't do anything. It's Thor's. So we're not going to do anything. And then now he actually was sent, hey, we need you to offer him to come back to the field of battle. But once Floki saw the man that Thor's had become, realized he could use the power of force over the villagers to leverage him into a spot where he could take revenge on him for leaving them behind because he probably took it personally because they seemed to be really close in that first battle. Because that's the same guy, right? The guy with the axe
Yeah.
that like chopped down 5 guys at the same
Yeah,
time.
I'm assuming, yeah.
So I feel like it's definitely he was put up to the task, but he was like, this is I'm taking matters into my own hands type
This
deal.
is not the man. This is not the troll.
Yeah.
The you look like the troll and you want to play him on TV, but it's not him. It's not you. You're not him, sir.
You're not him.
Because you
You're not him.
are over
You care
here.
about people.
You're taking
Disgusting.
snow off of people's houses, bro. This is what you result to. What happened to my troll, man? That's not you. Yeah, definitely. Um, Askeladd is having a well, not a heated conversation, not heated for him. It felt very tense for me, but Askeladd seemed to be so in his element, and I love Askeladd in this scene because Floki
Yeah.
notices it too, that like, oh man, maybe he is smarter than he looks. He's silly, he's cracking some joke, he's smiling a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and all while his men already killed one of his Vikings,
Mm-hmm.
one of his guards, and he does it in such a way to not be blamed for it. And it's like, ooh, what is
It
this
was like
character?
if he had done anything, it's like, like in that entire moment, like, we didn't know there was a guy there. What do you mean? Why the fuck do you have a guy there? It's like they could just point
I
their finger right back at them.
I love it. I love Askeladd instant characterization here.
But
Shifty
instead of doing
guy.
that, instead of pointing the finger, he uses it as a bargaining chip,
Mm-hmm.
because now he has
Because
leverage.
yeah, Floki was like looking, he's like, oh shit. Like,
Yep.
yo, but then I can't
God,
say anything
damn
about
it.
it.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Where's the button under the table? No, the
Yeah.
button's gone.
It's so good. Instantly makes it a very interesting character, and it's going to be a lot of
Yes.
fun to see where Askeladd goes. All the boys like Ylva and meet with her before they leave. I think that was
She's
just
like
a
the only like
teenager.
eligible bachelorette in the village, and they're
Yeah.
just all going off to this war battle or whatever. Ylva, I need to tell you something.
It's so
Ylva,
good.
Ylva, let me tell you something.
I'm gonna
Let
come
me tell
back.
you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
I just thought it was funny. I think it's a great sort of reprieve. I like the small bits of comedy. I mean, even with Thor's coming, Thorfinn asking like, "It means you can't turn around, right, Dad?" And then he's like, "Yeah, of course, yeah. That means it's too late to turn around." Who called me Dad? Like that. Those little jokes are just enough for me.
Yeah, it's enough to bring enough levity to the show, even though, again, as we said before, it starts off very tonally brutal and violent. It is a show that reminds you that there, even in those times, there's moments and bits of joy.
Mm-hmm. They have a plan so that none of the men, the boys, call them boys because they are,
Boys to men.
none of the boys, not yet, that some of the boys will not have to go into battle. They're going to go ahead and drop them off. Leif Erikson's going to go ahead and bring them back. So they don't actually have to go into war or do anything because Thor's going to recruit.
No foiting.
No foiting. They are not fit for war. And they cannot handle
amateurs and children compared to Thor's and anybody else that Thor's would have to fight.
Brother, Thor's rowing the goddamn boat on one side.
One paddle, enough for like 5 men.
It's so good. And it's just like, what?
And life is just like, try to keep up.
Yeah.
Bong. Bong.
What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? He's lapping y'all. What's going on? It's so good.
We're turning.
Yeah.
Oh, we're starting to turn, everyone.
They make Thor seem so cool. And I'm like, yes, bro, this is the man I can get behind.
And you just
so down.
It makes it so much worse when it eventually happens. Because he is cool. He's a cool guy. He's strong and capable, but you can tell that he's caring and nurturing. And here in the 3rd episode, when he talks about the only time that he's ever seen Helga mad at him, there's definitely a sense there that, like, yeah, because you learned your lesson, didn't you? Mm-hmm. And so you never made her mad again.
How did you like seeing Thor as the bloodlusted war creature that he was before?
Yeah, it gives it a very nice contrast to seeing him before to now, as he has become the person that understands that there's nothing to gain when participating in those things. You have no enemies. No one has enemies. Thorfinn.
Yeah. Thor's kind of sucked back then because homie was holding Ilva by the butt
He was
and she was
pawning
just
his
like
newborn child.
her head was like everyone's like, no, wait, what's going on? Yeah, he sucked in that moment, bro, because Helga was like, name her Thor's, and he's like, I gotta go,
I'm
bro.
busy.
I don't know.
We're about to go on campaign for months. You
Yeah.
think I got time to name my child?
I was like, what the
Just like,
fuck,
you
bro?
get your ass back in here and you name this child right now, sir.
Name her. I loved Helga in that moment. I think Helga deserves better, but Thor's became the person that she needs. And I love that. I love the relationship now too, because man, there was such a small moment that I loved. And like I felt it because they said they've been together for 15 years, right? And when he's going away, he does not see Thorfinn. Thorfinn's nowhere to be seen. He's going off to what war, what the end of his life. And it's like, oh shit, man, I'm going back to the thing I hated. I'm not seeing my son before that. That sucks. And he's there in the boat and he's like, hey, Helga, take care of them for me. And if you see Thorfinn, can you tell him? And then she says, I will. And it's like, oh, like they know each other. She knows, and we know now, she knows he's not good with his words. She knows what
Mhm,
he wants to say. And I
mhm.
thought that was such a small moment that meant a lot because he's like trying to like, what do I
Yeah,
say?
it's a huge moment of characterization for sure.
And their
For sure.
connection. And I was like, I felt a little taken aback when I saw them and how he was to her in the past. And then like with the baby, like you need to name him now Thor's. But then it all came back to like the kid just there. But it all like brought it back for me in that moment that they are in a loving relationship, that he has mended who he is and is a better father and a better person, husband for her. And I was like, man, that's cool. Like I like that. It was so small, but it was really great. Uh Thorfinn's has to pee. He's stowaway there. It was really good. Thor's oh, there was an ambush on the way to the island. They blocked their way out. There's pirates. Bjorn eats a berserker mushroom, and Thor's jumps onto their boat, and that's how
Mario
episode
brother up in
3.
here.
Homie, he going crazy. He yeah. Episode 4, a true warrior. What happens in episode 4?
Thors takes down Askeladd's crew, beating but not killing them until he faces Bjorn in a berserker rage after eating a mushroom. He defeats Bjorn and tells the rest to leave, then challenging Askeladd to a duel. After an intense sword fight where Askeladd showcases his finesse and skill, Thor is able to turn the tables and defeat Askeladd. But Thorfinn ends up getting held hostage and forces Thors to resign, then getting hit by a volley of arrows. Thorfinn stows away on the captured ship that Askeladd's crew keeps and swears revenge against Askeladd. Roll those eyes.
I wrote this down when I was watching. He went Bjorn Zerk with that mushroom. Bjorn Zerk, anybody? Bjorn Zerk? Anyways. I
Anyone?
thought it was funny. He ate the berserker mushroom. Everyone abandons
Bjorn
ships.
Zerker.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's the funny part.
You said Bjorn Zerk? I
Dang
added
it.
an ER.
Dang it. It's funnier. God damn it. Bro, the amount of coolness Thor's has just gets upped every single time I see him.
Mhm.
We've seen him take down a bunch of dudes with in that battle. We see him uh rowing with one huge oar, and then now we see him fighting everybody. Doesn't even draw his sword, man. Just fighting, huh, 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 just punch, and like the animation on the faces when he's punching people just left and right, so good. Man, the troll of Yam really just doing it to him. He took down Bjorn. Thor's through Bjorn and comes to save all of everybody. That fight scene was really good. There was one really funny part when there was people like running. There was people that were running in front. One person ran in front of him. One person was coming behind him, and he's just like, "Do, do." Yeah, like it
I
was.
laughed at that too.
Yeah, it was so good. Like every other time was just like, like blah blah, crazy animation, and then for 2 hits, it was like, poof, poof. It was cool. Askeladd. So we get the smell of Askeladd being the leader of this crew. I don't really understand it.
I think that was kind of a joke. That's why he even laughed.
Okay, the Askeladd laugh.
It's like he looks like the leader. He's standing there wearing like a chest plate curious. He is dead front and center of everybody.
And he's the only one with his arms crossed, and everybody else has their weapons out. So
Yeah,
I was like,
he commands the presence.
Okay.
The presence. So I definitely think it was a joke for sure. Like, how could you tell? And then he's gonna, in such a tense situation, Thor says something like your smell. So that's why he laughs and you're definitely amusing. You're an amusing guy. Let's see why, they talk so highly of you. Let's see why this crew of Vikings just hired us to kill you. Like, why is that the case? Why did they want us? That's ultimately why they followed through, is because he thought the whole idea is just so exciting and promising. That, like, what are we about to discover with this Thor's
and
troll?
what do you think, going off of that thought, what do you think the reason Floki didn't do it himself? There could be a couple of different answers to that. Could be that he is really close to Thor's and he doesn't want to do that to his friend. Another one could be that he knows he can't take down Thor's, so he wants to get somebody else that has a lot of men that are probably disposable to eventually take him down. There could be another one where I don't know.
I think that it's because he was supposed to meet everybody back with the fleet. He's supposed to go deliver that message, meet back with the fleet, and then Thor's is going to be expected to meet up with everybody else. So he can't be the one to kill him, because then the fleet at large will know that Floki was the one that killed him when they're trying to bring him out of because he said that there's an execution when really desertion might just call for exile. And because there's this huge massive war that's about to start, they're like, we're going to call him out of exile. If he accepts, that's fine. If he doesn't accept, that's fine. But we're giving him the call to action. And then you report back. If he comes, he meets with us. Floki's like, I don't like that. I want revenge because this dude left us in the dust. And so he
Left me in the dust.
Taking it personally. So he's using Askeladd as a middleman to do what he wants done en route to the main fleet.
So you actually, like, I don't know if I'm so sold on the idea that this war is actually happening. We have not heard anything.
I'm bought in because the show showed me the English attacking and killing a bunch of Vikings.
Okay.
So I feel like that's not that information isn't fabricated.
No.
But maybe that's Floki's personal not agenda, but maybe that's his the thing that happened that's giving him the ability to fabricate this lie and put Thor's in this trap. Maybe.
Yeah, I do see what you mean about that battle, or not a battle, that really just
massacre
that happened when all the boys were hanging out in the path. But yeah, I don't know if it is actually happening. Maybe that they attacked and then everybody's sort of discussing it, and Floki's like, bro, it's gonna be a war and I gotta get my boy, so let me go and do that. I don't know. We haven't been introduced to the king or anything, so I can't really say for sure.
That's what makes it hard to, but that's what my guess would be, is that, like, again, like, how do they even know where to find him? I feel like they've known where he's been, but it's just like, we can't do anything, so let's just say he's in exile.
that would make more sense to where, okay, maybe the timeline could be like, yes, he does. We do need to kill him, but exile is fine. And the king make like an executive order, like exile's fine. It's good enough. We gotta leave him there. And in case we need him in the future, we can go get him. That's
Yeah.
fine because
Or
he's
maybe even not
Thor's.
that last bit, but now that this war is about to happen, there's this snap decision that's like, we need the troll or whatever
Yeah.
his name is.
Yeah. The troll of Yom.
Yeah.
Back to the episode. Askeladd accepts Thor's challenge to a 1v1. Askeladd was fast, but Thor's was able to dodge a bit. Man, that was so cool. That was so cool. The way Askeladd did it. And then the way they animated it too was
Mhm.
really so dope. He just choom, and then he's gone. And I'm like, oh, and then
And the way Askeladd is able to deliver the strike, even though it's not deadly, and the way that Thor's kind of like takes the strike and has to move the way the way he moves to try to counterattack with that knee to Askeladd, you just feel the difference in the dexterity of the two fighters. It's like you can see their character sheet where like Thor's has like a 30 in strength, but Askeladd's over here with like a 30 in dexterity.
yeah,
So they're two incredibly strong fighters, but they're powerful in their own ways.
yeah.
And
And it
Askeladd was definitely trying to use a moment to leverage the fight being over in an instant. But Thor's is capable enough to not let that happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think that would work on everybody else. That Askeladd could use that one move to distract, and then instantly you use his speed to do a killing blow in
Drop
one.
something in front of somebody and you're quick enough to get under it and deliver a strike
Is
before it
crazy.
hits the ground as it passes by you as it's dropping. Like that's insane amounts of speed, just like it's insane amount of strength for Thor's to be able to backhand punch somebody and send them flying.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
we're definitely dealing with this, even though the show is set in like historical context, these are ginormous feats of strength being accomplished and human power.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, these
It's still
are
anime. It's still anime, is what I'm saying.
yes, definitely.
In terms of its power scaling so far.
Thor's baited him to get a final swing when they were battling. And once Thor's gets that cut, it was like, okay, I'm doing this. And we show it's a cool fight. It's such a cool fight from the first hit to Thor's being like, all right, well, I'm going for it now. And he's hammering away, the movement, the reactions to everybody watching.
To
Thor's
the realization that, oh, he hasn't been attacking me, he's been breaking our
attacking
weapons this whole time. That realization super cool as well, because again, it's just an interesting way to turn what's just two guys swinging swords at each other into something more than that. And all it takes is one little twist sometimes to make the fight go from flashy to flashy and interesting.
Yes, very interesting because their swords break. Askeladd thinks he has the upper hand because he was the one that noticed it, but all along, Thor's was actually doing that intentionally, trying to make them break so that he can get Askeladd to make the move, hits him on his arm, and Thor's is the smarter fighter in this moment. Thor says he's weak, and a great warrior doesn't need a sword. So he throws his sword. What do you mean? What do you think he means? Because he doesn't have time to explain everything. He says he says what he's thinking because of his previous experiences and this is something that he's learned where maybe in the past when he was a warrior, he needed the strength from a sword, but now he has the strength in other ways.
Yeah, he has the strength to not rely on using something that might make him fighting as a warrior easier, but it's actively taking the lives of other people. And it just coincides with his philosophy that, when Thorfinn reaches for a sword, he's like, why are you reaching for a sword? A sword is a tool for killing people. Who do you need to kill? My enemies. You don't have any enemies. Nobody has enemies. And that's this entire episode is him standing by that philosophy no matter what the cost, even his own life.
Yeah. Askeladd asked Thors
No
to
matter
become their
how
leader.
backed against the wall he becomes. Sorry.
Yeah. No, Askeladd was joking in that moment about asking Thors to become the leader. Bjorn takes Thorfinn as hostage. It goes out the window. Everything goes out the window, man.
Mhm.
When you're
And
dealing with
do you
pirates.
obviously, like, I mean, I felt like it was a little obvious that, like, Askeladd definitely didn't. He's like, I didn't ask for that to happen, and I honestly kind of feel bad that that just happened. But it coincides with Askeladd's whole philosophy, where once he lost, he's like, I'm not going to surrender in front of my crew.
Yeah.
Like, you realize that, right? I surrender, I go back to them, they mutiny anyways. Type. I feel like that's kind of like that, possibly the headspace or whatever.
I feel like in he is the what is it called? What's the analogy? That the prisoners are running the asylum, sort of. I think that's what it is, where he's just the head prisoner of these other prisoners.
Mhm.
And he's like, they kind of follow me, and I'm cool with that. And I know they're kind of like unhinged enough to where I can't control them. And I don't want to control them. They're going to do their own thing. It's kind of like the Joker, maybe
Yeah.
with all his guys. He's like, hey, they're
So
causing
he's
chaos.
at the same time that he feels bad, he's not surprised, but he can see Thor's this man trying to stand on morals,
But
duels, philosophies, and concepts. And so ultimately, yeah, he says, did you really expect us to follow the rules?
yeah, but in this moment, he sees that, but he knows that he can't do anything about it. Like
Exactly.
he like you said, if he says, "Okay, I give up. Don't kill me. You don't have to kill me. I secede, whatever." Then everybody else is gonna get on him and be like, "What the
Mhm.
fuck, bro? No, we're gonna do our own
And
thing.
in,
We're gonna
again, in that
attack."
moment, if he says, hey, release the kid that you just took hostage, everybody's going to be like, what do you mean release the hostage?
Mhm.
What are you talking about? He knows, he even though he can see the morals presented by this other man of conviction that he respects, because of he just got bested by him. He's like, he respects him truly. It's just kind of like an instance of like, shrug your shoulders and like, sorry man, that's the way the cookie crumbles around here.
And in the way that Thor's found himself here in his morals at this moment in his life, maybe Askeladd had those same morals in the past and things
Maybe, actually,
happened.
I didn't even think about that.
He was that guy in the past and was like, yo, follow the rules of the duel or whatever. And things happened to where he's like, yo, fuck the rules, whatever. I
Mhm.
don't care
And it's
about this.
only through that's gotten him to where he's at now, whereas before it may have never gotten him anywhere.
Very true, because later on in the boat, as they're leaving, he's still thinking about
He
Thor's
is
and the morals of the
pondering on it.
man.
And
He's
I love that.
pondering
I love that that's kind of like where we get left at for that character, because it sets up
something
of
that could happen.
it sets up a character that I'm very conflicted on liking, because it's like, obviously he's showing some sort of internal struggle with the things that just happened, but it's like you just took away a character that you were just saying we established as being so freaking awesome, that I really liked. Thought was really cool, and then you're the reason that character is gone, even though I could tell he was reluctant in making that call. Again, we're here to get our paycheck, and it's sad that a paycheck is what led me to discovering you, Thors, but this is the world that I live by.
Because
This is the code that I live by.
yeah, so he still respects the wishes of a dying man. And it looks like that's the highest code that you can give, because even these prisoners, these crazy people in the asylum, still hold that to be true. Hey, Thor's is dying. Let my people go. I'm dead already. Here's
Yeah,
my soul. And then they
this is
give it
what
to
we
him.
were here for.
And they're okay with that. They don't play by the rules. The arrow scene, man, what a baller way. I don't think you got it, but there's just one shot where it's all white, and it's him with the arrows and Thorfinn just there on the ground, and it's just so insane. Thor's didn't end up killing any of Askeladd's men. I think that's going to weigh on him as well, that
Yep.
he was fighting and he held true, that even though this was such a big feat that they had to
He did it
overcome,
all without killing anybody, i.e., with no sword,
no
drawing no
sword,
blood.
punches.
Even though it looked like he could have left them with some long-lasting injuries, like you definitely broke a bone or two. There's some concussions and contusions going on, but
definitely.
no death. No death.
So I think
It's
that
like,
is definitely going to weigh
it's
on.
like Sakamoto days up in here.
Yeah, pretty much. No death, but it gets pretty crazy. Askeladd is I think that will be maybe the turning point for Askeladd, or
I'm excited to see what happens with him. He reminds me of like a Prince Zuko-esque character.
okay.
It's like he, like, you know, very much immediately
It's gonna be
introduced
very
as like
hard.
a scoundrel style, just willing to do what he needs to do to claw his way to the top, but then starts to realize the consequences of his own actions and choices of moralities and such.
It's gonna be a lot harder for me to like him because he killed the coolest guy on the show. So we need some cool guys, some more cool guys for the show. But man, this Thorfinn scene at the end, he's a stowaway. The way they left it off, he's going with Askeladd and his crew. He's stowed away on the ship that they had. I gotta say, if you can, go watch this. I didn't watch it in Japanese, so I don't know how the Japanese voice actor did.
It's pretty good.
But the English voice actor on that last scene, please go see it, because they gave the most blood-curdling scream, and it was baller. That whole scene is just them putting where I would get goosebumps. I saw it twice, got goosebumps both times. So crazy.
Okay.
Just yelling. It's so good. And I was like, yes, let's go. Thorfinn's voice actor. So good. So there we are. First 4 episodes, Vinland Saga. Next week, we're going to talk about 5 through 8 of Vinland Saga. Are you excited? I'm excited. I like this is my
like
shit.
I said, I'm excited. I like the setup for him at the end there, because the fact that he's now stowed away with this gang, like he's not going home. So it's like we are, even though, like, you know, there's the whole concept that he was supposed to go back home with the merchants. We are now full send past the point of no return, so to speak, for the story. And I like everything up to this point. So I'm excited to see what now happens past the point of no return.
Kaylin, when she was watching, she was mad at Leif Erikson because he's like, bro, you didn't make sure Thorfinn.
I was watching with my roommate and he said that right away, and I kind of sat on it, and then the episode ended and I turned off the TV and I was like, yeah, man, what the fuck? He's just
literally Leif, bro.
He stowed away twice.
Yeah. Stowed away twice, and nobody in the crew was just like, where's his son? Yeah. Oh shit.
Hey, like, hey guys, we're missing that kid that was held hostage. Could we just have him back, please?
Yeah, bro. Please? You know, the son of the guy that saved us all from being killed by these pirates.
He was hugging his standing corpse.
He was there. Remember? I think he was. Yeah. Whatever. It's cool. I'm down. The manga, the first 2 books went really fast, so I think I have some story that I still know of, but like
well, I mean, even like the first season's 24 episodes. Both seasons are 24 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like they got some long seasons going on here, so it makes sense that that's the case then.
So tune in next week for Vinland Saga episode 5 through 8. We're going to watch that. Hopefully you watch it as well. Give us your thoughts in the live comments or later on in the comments on YouTube. And then we're going to rank it after on the next episode in 2 weeks. We're going to put it up here on one of these and then pick out a brand new anime. If you want to give $5 super chat on YouTube or 500 bits on Twitch, even later on, if you're watching this later on, you can do the $5 super chat and we'll get to you and add the anime on there. Matt, when you're not on your own Vinland Saga, where can they find you on the internet?
You can follow me on my socials at it's Matt_Galley, or you could follow me on YouTube, where we also host this podcast live at Matt_Galley. Jules, when you're not here, Thor, Finn, Askeladd, Yoms, Vikinging, where can the people find you?
At JulesTheHuman, at JulesTheHuman on all social media. Find me on Instagram, on Threads, on YouTube. You can watch this podcast, go back and look at all the anime that we've already seen. We've done this for 3 seasons, over 100 episodes. If you're like,
Wow.
man, did they watch that one anime? I want to hear them discuss that one anime. Go back, go look at it on Spotify, on the YouTube channel, on wherever you watch podcasts or listen to podcasts. You can find us there and go back and check out all those episodes.
And if it's not there, come back and put it in the chest and we will watch it eventually.
True. But until then, Vinland Saga 5 through 8 next week. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.